Hello everybody and welcome to Tony's Reading Realm. This video is going to be a fantasy sci-fi starter series, and this is actually going through what I did. So first off is going to be an honorable mention to Harry Potter. I've read this series several times and actually was the only kind of fantasy that I had tried, and then I went into Lord of the Rings, which I do not recommend for beginners because I got burned out after the first book, and then I still haven't gone back to it. So maybe one day. So honorable mention goes to Harry Potter. So if you haven't tried Harry Potter yet, definitely start with that. And then I don't have the physical book because somebody's currently borrowing it, but Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson was the first, I guess, adult-ish fantasy book that really kind of sucked me in. It's mostly from two point of views. There's a couple chapters that are a third and fourth point of view, but for the most part, it's all just two different points of view, so it's not too crazy. And it's a good introduction to Sanderson's Cosmere, and the magic system is pretty unique and interesting. From there, I actually went to The Way of Kings, which again I would not recommend for somebody just getting into fantasy because that is a huge book. But next was The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. This has multiple points of view, and it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. It's considered grimdark, which means there's a lot of like morally gray characters, and there's a lot more to it, but that's kind of the baseline for it. And then if you enjoy that, there is book 2. Nope, this one's book 2. Book 2 and book 3. And then kind of in the scheme of it, not like it actually turned out, but there's like a second generation. So if you think of, the new trilogy of Star Wars where it's everybody's kids, except done better, you've got A Little Hatred, Trouble with Peace. So this is kind of like the second generation of all that. But you can definitely get a lot of stuff done with just that first trilogy, which is what I did. But again, The Blade Itself, a great introduction into a bunch of different points of view, and it's not exclusively, good versus evil. And then from there, I went into John Gwynn's The Faithful and the Fallen. This has almost an exhausting amount of point of views. It's kind of Game of Thrones-esque in the way that there are so many different chapters. Each chapter is a different point of view. And all of those point of views, are all on their own parts of the map. So you have to learn names, you have to learn regions, you have to learn cities. So it's kind of exhausting up front. But if you can make it through probably the first 100 pages, this takes you for a ride. And then the second book picks up right where the first book left off, and then you got book 3, and then you got book 4, and then there's another, I think it's a trilogy that is, I think it's 100 years or hundreds of years past that, which I don't have yet. But so far this has been my favorite series that I've read so far. So John Gwynn, Malice, Faithful and the Fallen, definitely worth a read. And then from there, I went into a little bit of sci-fi, and I went with Red Rising. And the first book is similar to The Hunger Games. So it's got a lot of, teens kind of fighting each other and all that stuff. It's an interesting premise where Earth has humans have started to colonize other planets, and there's been a caste system that's based on colors, and whatever color you are determines your profession. So you got Red Rising, Golden Sun, and these are all by Pierce Brown. And then Morning Star is the original trilogy, and then he's got, I think, 3 or 4 after that. To my knowledge, I think this is still an unfinished series, so there's that. But Red Rising, good introduction into sci-fi. And then from there, I went to The Poppy War, which is another, actually, going back to this one, this is a single point of view. So it's just from one person's perspective. And then The Poppy War is another single point of view, and it's got a lot of military strategy and stuff like that. So if you're into that, you'll really like this. But it's basically, you know, these 2 cities, whatever, that are going to war, 2 countries that are going to war, and this one person's kind of caught in the middle of it, and it's her, you know, going through school to figure out how to be a warrior, and then what it leads to that. And there are 2 more books. I don't know if you can see that. I don't have them yet. The Dragon Republic and The Burning God. So another good trilogy worth looking at. And then the one that I am currently working on right now is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, which I think might surpass John Gwynne, because I am absolutely loving it, and everybody says the first one's the hardest to get through. It's another single point of view. The magic system is not too involved. It's very minor so far. I'm about to finish this first book, but her writing is really good, and so far it's been the story that's grabbed me the quickest from like the first chapter and hasn't let go. And then this, I think, is like 14 books or something. It's got 3 or 4 different trilogies and stuff to go with that. So if you are looking for kind of an introduction into, I'm going to put all these together real quick. Introduction into fantasy. Here is kind of your starter kit. So we got Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, The Blade Itself, Joe Abercrombie, Malice by John Gwynne, Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, Red Rising by Pierce Brown, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. My iPad's freaking out, sorry. And then, of course, honorable mention, Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe. And if I missed one of yours that you think should be on a starter kit, please let me know in the comments. Till next time, take care.